welcome to this video. This video is for those who are scared that they might not be good enough for their twin flame, for their specific person. Some divine feminines are older than the masculines. I do have actually 2 videos on twin flame differences, especially on the age gap. So some feminines, divine feminine, think that their masculines won't want them because they're too old, especially if maybe they already have children that are older and they don't want any more children, or they're too old now to have children and their masculine is younger and they're scared maybe my masculine wants to have children. Or maybe you think your divine masculine is so handsome or your divine feminine is so handsome and you don't see yourself as pretty and you think you may not be good enough. This video is for you. I have to admit this video is different than others. I have other videos that are spontaneous, but it's like past 2 a.m. right now, and I was meditating when this came to me and I'm feeling like I'm still a bit in a trance. I'm not completely here yet. And the thing is, I haven't really sorted my thoughts, but what just came to me in trance was that, Level Goddard saying everyone is you pushed out, which means everything is something that is part of you on your inside that is getting projected onto the 3D. Some scientists claim that what we experience and what we call real life actually is not real life. What's real is our imagination, because our imagination is part of God. It is the I am. It is what we create with. It is our tool to create with. And our assumptions, it's the law of assumptions. That is what's getting projected into what we call 3D or reality. But since this is not the source, it's not we live in this world and then we create our thoughts. Yes, of course that happens. We have assumptions, they get pushed out, and those experiences we have create new beliefs. But, it could be like a vicious cycle in English, I believe. However, it does start with your assumptions first, always. So this is what you call real life. It is a projection, which means your person is you pushed out. They are also a projection of your assumptions. You created them. Well, somewhat. Created them somewhat, because I know it's a bit complex. Neville Goddard also formed the term creation is finished, and I believe in that. Time does not exist. It is already created, and in each timeline, in each universe, it is created a tiny bit different. So we do have a multitude of choices to make. It's like the radio. All of those songs, they have already been written and they're already broadcasted, and you just tune into the channel of the kind of music you like to listen to. That is basically what we do. And when I talk about creation, what I specifically mean is we tune into that specific frequency that is of our choosing, and we either do that consciously when we learn about the law of assumption and we learn about manifesting, or we do it on autopilot, which means you have created that specific version of your person. It might be then in a different timeline. Your specific person may not be that specific person. You may be dealing with another woman or a man that is your age or that is older, where you don't have that belief of, oh my God, they're younger. And I know that some of you may think, but I didn't want a younger guy, especially if you're a woman. I didn't want a younger guy. Why did I manifest that? It is not always what we consciously manifest. Sometimes it may be a subconscious want or need, and I explain that in a second with one of my personal experiences. But sometimes it is something that we want or need in order to grow. So, which means that ultimately, maybe not on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level, the person you created is exactly what you chose to create, even with those circumstances. Or for those of you where you think, oh, your person is specifically handsome and you're not. Well, something inside of you chose that version of them where they're handsome. Because there may be other versions where, I don't know, they are not as handsome. Maybe they're really skinny or really heavy or anything else you're not into, or they're whatever is not your type, our bodies can look different in different timelines. Imagine you may have had an accident and you've lost a limb, or in other timelines you don't, or in some timelines you had this really bad case of acne and you've got scars all over your face. I'm not saying that people who have that are not desirable. Some people actually like something like that because they think it's interesting. So everybody has, of course, their own things they like. However, when you put your person on a pedestal because they're so handsome or so beautiful, there may be timelines where they're not, but where you maybe would consider them more being your equal. But you chose the timeline where they are this beautiful, which means something inside of you manifested that version of them. At the same time, timelines meet, which means that that person manifested you exactly the way that you are. That may be conscious or subconscious. Let's say there's some old wounds, and I always say in other videos that people with the anxious attachment style meet somebody with the avoidant attachment style, which means that if you're in the anxious attachment style, your person may be running, and you experience that, you manifested that, and for your person it's the opposite. They also have some kind of trauma that makes it hard for them to really open up. Maybe they didn't feel loved in their childhood, so they're not used to it, and they see that closeness as something threatening. Or maybe it was the opposite. They had somebody who really smothered them, and now you maybe come and you're not giving them any space, and you're just constantly texting them, being in the chasing mode, and they find that threatening and just have to protect themselves from that. So that would be their point of view. But if you have grown out of these phases and you're ready for love because you are in self-love, your person manifested you as well, and they manifested that specific version of you. So it's not that they would see you, once you are in your self-love, I have to say, that they would see you as something that is not attractive to them, because they could have manifested a different version of you where, I don't know, you have only lost those few extra pounds, or this is different, that is different, whatever your problem is, but they specifically manifested you, maybe not consciously but subconsciously. A moment ago I said something about sometimes we manifest something that we think we don't want, for example the age gap, but we feel that we need. And that could be, one of my examples, personal examples, would be the age gap. And I have experienced both. I've had a catalyst twin, a very close connection with somebody. It was not toxic at all. It was a very loving connection. It just couldn't really form into serious commitment because of unhealed issues on both our ends, but it was still a good friendship where both loved each other. It just couldn't go that way. And that man, I met him when I was like 26, and he was 6 years younger than me, so 20. I was close to 27, he was close to 21 when we met, and of course that was way too young for me. But with that, I learned to not see age as a big issue anymore, especially since he was very mature for his age, very mature. He was not the typical 20-year-old, but that was an important lesson for me. And then when I met my monadic twin flame, there is also an age gap, but it's the other way. It's 19 years that he is older than me. And I just recently turned 40 and he's 59. So of course that was also something that I was not really happy about in the beginning, because that really triggered my fear of abandonment. Like, okay, we get together. I had to wait like 40 years for the love of my life, basically. And then we have a couple of years and then he dies. Like, what the hell? Because of that age gap. Which means that I got triggered because of something like the age gap. And that's what I always say, a monadic twin flame, they don't trigger you by doing something to you. It is the circumstances, And that was one of the circumstances. Another one, my personal story, is that my twin flame, there's money involved. He has money, way more than I do, which also triggers a fear inside of me. The fear of being controlled, or the fear of being dependent on someone. I mean, I'm an aqua moon and also midheaven in Aquarius, so depending on someone is of course something, the idea I don't like at all. So that is something that scared me in the beginning. And I was wondering, like, well, I never wanted to manifest a rich guy. Because of that, what I perceive to be imbalance. And that is also an assumption that I am working to overcome, thinking like the energy of money is worth more than what I have to bring to the table, which is actually the divine feminine is more the spiritual leader and the divine masculine is more the material leader, in the material world. So it is completely fine. But the idea of that perceived imbalance of him having way more money than me, it is something that made me feel very uncomfortable, which is something I didn't want. I did not want to manifest that in a twin flame, or you cannot manifest a twin flame if you meet them and it totally gets you by surprise, right? But it would not have been something that I would have consciously manifested. So I was thinking about what happened here. Why did I manifest like that specific person, or that specific person is my twin flame? Like, why? And then I realized, yes, it is a manifestation. Everything is a manifestation. But for me, it was not the desire of having somebody who is rich. For me, it was the desire of growing spiritually, of ascending. And how do we ascend? We see our shadows and we clear them. And I clearly had that shadow connected to money, or that belief that having less money means you're worthless, which is complete nonsense. So this situation, manifesting somebody who is older than me and who has a lot more money than me, is something I did not consciously would have chosen, but on the subconscious level, it was not about the money or the age. It was about the limiting belief of, the fear of loss, and something that I learned in the manifestation journey and is that we do manifest. So I realized sooner or later, oh my God, if I have that much power, I can manifest that guy to become really, really old. And I always had the feeling, ever since I was a child, that I would turn really old. I never really wanted to, but I always had the feeling, I'm gonna be like 100, which means I need him to be like 119. And then when I learned about manifesting, I was like, wait, I can make that happen. I can make that happen. When you manifest, you can do age reversing. There is scientists like a doctor in biology, Dr. Bruce Lipton, is also talking about this, about age reversing. He is a professor and doctor in genetics and epigenetics, so he's the guy who should know that. And he's explaining how with meditation we can do age reversing. So I realized, okay, I don't have to be scared of the age gap, because that's no longer an issue if you just clear those limiting beliefs. I am also clearing those money beliefs. I wouldn't say I'm done with that 100%. It's a work in progress, to be honest. But that is why I manifested that specific version of my twin flame, with the money. He doesn't have that in every timeline, because that thing, that career that got him that money, and another timeline he never gets into that career. He never gets into that kind of money. But I manifested that version of him that has that money. My manifestation was not the desire of having a rich guy. My manifestation, my deep desire was growing, ascending, clearing limiting beliefs. And so I had to be confronted with somebody who has enough money for me to trigger that stupid concept about money and worth, and connecting money to worth. In astrology, money and worth is connected. In astrology, Venus governs love and money. So if you have shitty self-concept, you most likely have shitty money. For some people, they can have a lot of money but don't find love. Maybe they have an aspect that would hinder one and be good for the other, or Venus falls into a specific house and they have some kind of connection which would enable them to have either love but no money, or money but no love. But usually it is both is connected to self-love, and we do have some limiting beliefs. And that is actually something that is, for me personally, my karma. Or dharma, you could say, because I do have the North Node in the second house. The second house is the house of, it's a Venus house of worth, of self-worth, but also financial worth. And clearing limiting beliefs when it comes to that. And that is what my twin flame, it's an important lesson that I am learning in this specific connection. So we do manifest that specific version of them that matches our beliefs. And again, our beliefs can be, I have the belief I want to really grow and clear all shadows. But it could also be if you feel this imbalance, like they are way more beautiful than you are in your personal perception. Why did you manifest that? You can ask yourself that. Is it because you want to overcome that belief that maybe you connect your worth to your physical body, and then that is something that you struggle with to overcome that connection you have, because you are more than your physical body, and you are more than the income in your bank account. You're more than that. Whatever you think makes you less to your person, it's just an illusion. You created that difference, because again, in a different timeline, they may not be as rich or as handsome, or your person may not be young, or whatever it is, but you created that version of them. They are part of you. It is something that you pushed out. So it's not them so it's not like you're confronted with something that is outside of you and that you have no control over. Because I say it again, everyone is you pushed out. So you created them. And if you create a version of them that doesn't want you because of whatever you think is not good about you, well, then that's just your assumptions about yourself getting mirrored back. That is why I am always so adamant when it comes to your shadow work and work on your self-concept. Because once you clear your assumptions about yourself and you clear your assumptions about your person, you can have assumptions. Of course, I am the best thing that they could ever have. Your timelines meet. So they manifested that version of you that you are, whatever their lesson is. If they perceive you as less beautiful than they are, as less good looking, just taking this as an example, well, then maybe that's their lesson, to overlook that and see the beauty inside of you and just seeing the light shining through your eyes. That will happen when you are on your journey and you clear the shadows, and they like you for your warmth, for your aura, for your radiation. So maybe that is their lesson. Or maybe they never cared and they just love you the way you are. And that is what's going to happen once you accept yourself the way you are. Then they will love you the way you are as well. But they manifested you. That means that you cannot be something that they don't desire. Maybe you are something that they don't desire consciously right now at this moment because of your assumptions. But again, everyone is you pushed out. Once you clear your assumptions, you shift timelines to the version of them that is absolutely crazy about you. It's your inner work. But what I meant to say with this video, whatever you think is less about you, it makes you less compared to your person, it's just an illusion that you yourself created. It's not like the divine was playing dice and said, okay, you have to deal with that. It is something you completely created, and you can change it by changing your assumptions. Okay, I hope that was not too much rambling. I hope it made sense. It's past 2:30 in the morning, but I felt like I really had to record this right now. If you need help, if you have more questions, leave comments below. If you need help, you can reach out. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe, share. If you know somebody who could benefit from this, please share. Help raise the Twin Flame Collective. Check out my other videos. And I do see you in another video or in a personal coaching. And till then, as usually, I wish you all the best now. Bye bye.